Sit down.
Shit.
What are y'all up to? I want my co-host. You know what, Sean? It doesn't matter, but why does all of a sudden my head block that?
We got to move everything this way, I think, or go forward with it.
But I don't think it'll stop me from blocking our sign.
Well, your head didn't grow. It's not that your head grew.
I know. Well, anyways, I will figure that out. It's just weird because it didn't used to. Hey, Karen.
What did you name our stream today?
I named it We Told You So. But that's for later. That's for later for us to discuss.
The We Told You So?
You know what? Let me ask you guys something. My friends in here, ladies or gentlemen, doesn't really matter, that do like nails, when you take them off after a long period, do they just shred? Because that's what they're just like shredding.
What? I don't think they're very thick under there.
What that?
What?
Holy shit, that's what's his name? Okay, so anyways,
He's trying to be a tough guy.
I don't know, but I don't think you can do that on social media. You can't really point a gun. So it's Thursday, right?
Thursday.
Right? I don't know.
What were we going to name the stream?
It's May 9th.
May 9th.
Okay, so no, probably, and I would guess, fairly, probably no one gives a shit about crossover day but us. But for those of you who don't know,
5 years ago,
today,
it was about now.
Hey, Maxine.
It was about 6:30 at night too, because we ended up when we crossed over. Like when the first text that Mandy ever sent me, that was like, "How you doing? Do you want to be a thing?"
But that's not exactly what was said.
That's not exactly what was said.
Did I say, what would you do if I was in that car?
So we were talking. I was in Asheville, staying with a friend, and all of a sudden, while we're chatting, Mandy just puts in the chat, "Sean,
hey,
what would you do
Robin.
if I was in that car right now?"
And I didn't really think he would catch on.
Like she just put it out there. What would you do?
It could have been a pivotal moment.
You should
where he just moved on.
I'm very slow. If you had said something like,
"Hey, one stress mommy,
what would you have liked to do
Steph.
to me if I was in that car?" Or something like for my primal male mind to figure out.
But up until now, you guys, I honestly, hey Aziz, I did not think that Sean had any sort of predisposition to be interested in that sort of intimacy. Hey D, with anybody.
Right.
So I thought, I don't know why I thought that, but you have to admit, back in the day when he would do his vlogs and you would catch snippets of him, you didn't see him as you saw him as kind of like someone who
you guys can put in the
could
chat.
take it or leave it.
I'm not thin-skinned.
Hey, Moxie.
What did y'all see me as? You saw me as some crazy girl's, husband trying to trying to hang on, and the words that are associated with that.
So
and then
it was fairly brave of me in many ways to save it. No matter what you think of the situation I was in, it was fairly brave because he could have been like, whoa, yeah, I'm not in a place like that. Like, I'm not in that place in my life. Okay, cool. No problem. And that would have changed the entire course.
Or I could have been in Rebound City and said, I'll come out there. And then at the end of the visit, it would have been, one thing we didn't do is catfish the shit out of each other so that we wouldn't.
Yeah, we didn't catfish each other. Hey, Mama Ricky and Loretta, it's good to see you. Loretta has the crud. Do y'all know what the crud is? Everyone seems to know what it is. It's just a croupy, nasty thing. And when you go in, the doctor doesn't even really know what to tell you that you have. It's just the crud.
Yeah, because the crud is exactly that.
It's just crud. Hey, Sandy.
We had the crud, like everybody in Iraq, everybody in the coalition had some version of the crud.
I bet.
Whether it was really bad or it was awful. Like mine got pretty bad, like it was turning to dysentery. They gave me that, what was that big, I always forget the big, antibiotic, Cipro. They started giving me Cipro, and it took about 3 days for it to where I could trust a fart, and couldn't for a while. But I tell you, I was in like I would drink water, and you would just feel it zooming through and just come right out.
Oh, that's miserable.
And it sucked.
Oh, that is miserable.
So,
and then there's just sand blowing everywhere.
Everywhere. Loretta, we hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
For sure.
The household has had it rough.
Yeah.
I went and let me tell you something. Getting old is not for the faint of heart. I finally went and had an MRI done on my knee.
At what time?
7 o'clock this morning.
She looked at her appointment. She goes, I got an MRI. She's like, fucking 7 o'clock.
And like 4 days ago, he was like, I'm going with you. You know I am. I said, well, I don't have to be sedated or anything. They're going to put me in backwards because it's just my knee. So I won't be in there. Well, I'll go. Okay. Then last night it comes down to the day before and I'm like, so we need to get up at like 6. And I'm like, it's just up the street. You really don't have to get up and go. And he was like, okay, if you're sure.
So what
it's
happened
always fun to offer until
it's time to offer. What was that one? Everybody wants free college until they offer them free college.
It was, yeah, you're right, Moxie. It was, when I went in today and I was like.
It is cruel. And Moxie, someone has to set everything up before 7.
But that's what I said. When I walked in, I go, y'all get started early around here. And they're like, yeah. And I said, when's your first thing? And they said 6 a.m.
So there was someone who got an MRI at 6 a.m.?
My dressing room, they have a really cool thing, and a lot of yours may have it. The imaging center actually has a women's area, and what they have a little dressing room. You go in because they do mammograms too. They give you a warm robe and tell you what to take off, but the robe is from a warmer, and then you go in and you change into it and you wait in your own private area until they come and get you. And I think that's pretty kick-ass. You put your stuff in a little locker. They have music in the thing, I guess, for once you get changed or whatever. They even have like a little hairspray. I mean, stuff like that. Northeast Physicians Group has it going on.
Yeah, they do. They're pretty good.
Yes. But it's done. Anyway, it's just degeneration and something else. And he was like...
It's a sports injury.
They did say... I always laugh because they say that this thing in my back is an old sports injury. This makes Sean laugh the first time I told him. Because it wasn't recent that they did it. And I'm like, they say it's a sports injury. And I told him, no. No, it's not.
So you didn't injure it playing softball?
I did play tennis, but no, there were no injuries.
Could you see ATX out there on the tennis courts? Whew.
I liked it. I really, really liked it.
When you throw the ball up there to serve and the skirt comes up,
I did have I have a picture.
I'd be like, atta girl.
You can't like it though, because I was
more
under
just
18.
like that. I want to see 5 of them just like that. And I'd be like,
oh my gosh. If he was my age, y'all, keep that in mind.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit
We've already
cool.
talked about it. If we were the same age, we would have had 25 kids. And
did you hear me talking to Dad about the doctor? And he went to cancel some appointment, or he was trying to make an appointment, and he goes, no, I wanted it's Dr. Whoever. And they go, well, Dr. Whoever is not with us anymore. And it happened to be my mom's primary. My mom didn't even know the doctor was gone.
Their primary care provider's gone?
Something like
They've
that.
had him for 30 years or something.
Something crazy like that.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
What a disappointment. They sent a letter to us when ours was moving on. Hey, Clancy.
What's up? What is up?
So the most interesting drama isn't even what's going on.
So before we even get into the drama, though, we were
we're not going to go deep into it.
Before the last 24 hours happened, May 9th, 5 years we've been together, 5 years tomorrow. And then June 2nd would be 5 years when we physically meet up, right? And then, then there's all that. And we'll get married the next year. But 5 years, and then when our anniversary comes, it'll be 4 years.
It'll be 4 years.
So all those people over there, not over here, but over there, and y'all know who you are.
Over there.
They kept drawing the line in the sand. They're not together, drew that line in the sand. They're together. Well, they'll never move in. Draw that line in the sand. They'll never get divorced, and they draw that line in the sand. Well, they'll never get married. They'll never last 2 years. And the last thing was, I don't give them 5 years.
Yeah. Like I said, we're still disgustingly into each other.
Yeah, we are. We're boringly into each other.
Yeah, which is okay. Y'all seem to not mind.
I
wanted to ask a quick question, and if you're not, I'm really not trying to solicit members, but would y'all, if some of the things that I catch a soundbite of when I'm recording ours is a little crass, not foul or anything, but are things that we joke with each other about, nothing politically incorrect, nothing like that. But they're a little bit, I guess you would say, crass.
They're sort of
Do
like...
y'all want to hear that, or are you like, keep that to yourself?
bloopers.
Yeah.
They're like bloopers.
Things like that he'll say when he doesn't know that I'm recording.
Yeah.
And
it'll be like, come over here and blah, 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 or whatever, you know, just stuff that the dude says, you know, you guys know.
And
like,
sometimes I've caught when I'm going, Sean, for real, you can't, you know, and I want to know if you guys like when you hide trash.
Because I said what I said today, and I won't say it because it's pretty crass. And she just goes, I'll start the recording over. And I'm like, oh.
But yeah,
like,
it was so funny. Mama Ricky, let me tell you, you would like it.
You would have liked it. Mama Ricky, you would have liked what I asked her to do, that she had to redo the whole thing.
It was definitely a different...
I can't put that in the snippet.
It was definitely a different situation than before we got together.
Definitely.
Okay.
No, you have made sure...
No, just...
yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, Karen did hear it. It's funny. I was like,
I was just kind of laying in the bed, and she's making material for
Jersey
members
girl.
stuff, and I just said it.
Jersey girl, that's Kelly Huff. She got her shit taken down because there's a crybaby in North Carolina. Make sure you're subbed to her on that channel.
You got another channel that you brought to the forefront. Put the link. The link.
Yeah.
And so, y'all know Kelly. She's OG. She goes where she wants.
Yeah, you're going to get it back, Jersey. I mean, Kelly, you're going to get it back. It was a total, it was a fluke that you're going to get it back. I'm fairly confident.
You know when you're on Facebook and you're flipping through those you may know, and I'm flipping, and I saw Kelly's Facebook profile with her hubs.
It was her profile picture, too.
Yeah, but I'd never seen that, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of people that troll on YouTube that go by a different name, and whatever matches, and they come up as recommended on Facebook, and you see the face and the name, and you're like, huh, I bet they don't know that comes up as
And sometimes when you see the face, but you've heard the stream, you're like, that's you?
We've had several people recently that got busted using photos from websites. Not important. We all do it. Hey, Anna Nicole.
Hey, Anna Nicole.
We've all done it for troll names or main names or whatever. It's like that. So,
I am glad Anna is here in the stream.
Me too.
Because she went through some bullshitty and I'm glad you're I'm glad you're here.
Me too. So. I'm a free agent. I do like you folks. That's what I'm talking about. We are disgustingly boring, but we sometimes spice it up a little bit.
You see how we say that? Because that's what a certain entity says to people who are constantly obsessed with this one. They're like, why are you so obsessed?
Right.
She's boring.
So they, Sean peeks into chats a lot. He doesn't listen to the sound, but he peeks in the chat. And today it appears that on this stream that AK was doing with Alex, they were talking about other shit, and Sam was still talking about me. What is, and Yaba's in the chat.
You know what? You know what? It is, and why Sam and Yaba have nowhere else to go right now.
That's my other point.
That's
name one other chat that they can go into and be accepted. There's not one.
Right.
There's no one. Really.
Even when they're in a chat, they've got AK and Alex in pocket, so they can go in and they can say whatever they want to. And I didn't listen to any of the sound. I was only over there for a minute because someone was like, "They're talking about you." The thing is like saying that they're talking about you or they're dragging you is kind of two different things. I mean, ATX comes out of a lot of people's mouths, Sam's particularly, and
it's really very rarely good. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, real crocheter.
Everybody, the whole community was like, "Man, we're glad you got out of that situation. You deserve happiness, and you deserve to be loved by some." Well, I'm with Mandy ATX. Oh fuck, I'm out of here.
I'm like, but I can be nice. So what they were in there talking about, because they really couldn't sound off anywhere else because Yaba and Sam are both struck. But I don't think Sam's struck. I think she doesn't want to have a fundraiser for AK on her channel, so she's pretending to be struck.
But she wiped her channel. That's a lot to go. I haven't looked over there, but I've heard she wiped it. Is this true, guys? Is her channel like gone, wiped,
and
clean?
The merch.
And the merch. Well, the merch is garbage anyway.
So there has been proof shown that there is a civil suit coming her way, her and the missus or whatever. And that was dropped on Twitter.
And
we've been saying it's coming, guys. We're not bluffing, it's coming. And it is. So so that happens and Sam wipes her channel and wipes her merch. That's called running. Y'all like to say that I run, that's called running.
And it's not the first time. Not the first time. But what I was I'm an observer. I'm also a numbers guy, that they'll tell you. I look at numbers and I look at this and that. Oh, AK and Alex, you are welcome for your 1,000. I said you'd get 1,000 if I talked about you guys. It might help your stream from today. But I said, since we're talking about you and giving you some attention, some people from here might go give it a look and you'll get your 1,000 views. So you're welcome for that. Sam, she wiped it. She wiped her channel.
Yeah, it's like we said, it was coming. People can think whatever they want to think about it, but the fact is, y'all are going to have to get an attorney. That's the reality of it. You're up against something that is going to potentially go on and on. So you're going to have to get one.
I think it's crazy because even Yaba spit out this tweet that Claire is using her dead aunt's
Steven.
money. And it's like, who cares whose money
Steven,
it is?
thank
Guess
you.
whose money she's using? She's using her money. Because what happens in people's families is when their relatives pass away, other family members inherit the money.
They're so obsessed with her money.
It's so normal
Don't
in society.
worry about her money.
Yeah.
That's not important. Worry about the fact that you are facing a civil suit. And I have never seen Yaba so impulsive posting
she's
stuff.
just throwing shit
The
up
one
there.
that she posted today was barely coherent. Like, remember I read it to you? I couldn't even make sense out of it. It's crazy.
Well, yesterday or a couple days ago, whenever it was, when she comes on and she says, that's it. I'm striking anybody that reviews us and this and that, when the whole universe, even their own people were going, but that's what you do.
That's
chickadee.
what you do.
You do that.
And
You're
no
telling
one
people they're not
watches
allowed
you if
to,
you don't.
but you do.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The word on these streets is that she's got 2 strikes. That's
Does
unfortunate because who knows?
Who knows?
Is that true? But if Foodie Beauty decided to take her go, then it could potentially be the entire.
Yeah, if Foodie decided to
and it's crazy.
Cross over into no man's land and decided to start striking Yaba, that could be, she'd have a huge case.
Yeah.
A huge case.
Hey, patty cakes.
It is kind of a, like kind of the business agreement where Yaba has built a channel and by her own words has built her livelihood. And as she says, taking food out of my kid's mouth, which is another corny thing to say. But in Foodie, at any moment, Chantel at any moment could say, enough. I don't give you permission to do it anymore. And it might not be like an immediate end, but she could make Yaba's life pretty difficult.
Yeah, they worry about Anna Nicole's financials too. No, don't worry about anybody's money. Don't worry about that. But she's married to someone, Yaba is, that when she smells money, she's like a track.
See what we're doing here? We're actually giving you the title of Mrs. Yaba or whatever you guys go by.
Which made it probably much easier to file against you jointly.
That's right.
I mean,
you see, Yaba, and we were talking about this, not just amongst ourselves, but with some of our friends. First of all, if we had a major lawsuit levied against us, and we learned when we had to go in court a few years ago, we kind of put it out there. But I think at this point, if someone was to knock on our door and serve us with something, probably the last place that we would go right now as we sit would be here and tell.
And not because we would be fearful, but it makes us look very panic stricken.
Right. Like when AK got served, you remember when her and Tragic were streaming when she got served? They were both, you could tell, that was the stream. All the air went out of the stream and, yep, are you okay? Yep. And then, Tragic was like, well, that's bullshit. Oh, we'll take care of that. And you could tell they were like, well, fuck me running. He sued me. Right.
Another one that said it was coming. No love lost for Hussey, but he said he was going to do it, and he just kept on talking, and that's just incredible.
But this is a little different, though. This is a little different kind of lawsuit. It's one thing for us to drag each other back and forth, and then we dish it out, but then can't take it back, and then cry foul when somebody actually sues you. Or you could say to the other person, you drag them back and forth and then you sue somebody. Anyway, that's like small little, there's really no victory to be had in that. Hussey had someone settle and give him a little bit of money. But other than that, I mean, if we were to sue somebody or they were to sue us over this shit right here, it's just pretty petty.
If it was like for like a medial civil thing. But that's the thing about like, when the civil filings were listed out, one of them is copyright infringement. That just has to be proven by an attorney.
Right.
That's not I'm scared, please grant me an emergency. That's nothing like that. That's something that I would assume the attorney has enough material in her hands to say, I am confident that we can move forward with this.
And the DA will, that's when
it's a lot of content.
It has to be a whole lot. But know this, if you are a defendant, you can try to go in there pro se. Is it that what it is?
Just when you go pro se.
Yeah. And it's not a really good idea, because if you're going in there and the DA has taken the case, then the DA has done their homework.
Like in a criminal case.
Right. So the plaintiff, the DA then becomes your attorney because the state will take the case.
No, you mean yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right.
It's like they're going in there and they're sitting down because the DA is the one presenting the case.
Yeah, and they can do that in a civil case too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they can do that too. And that was, I went through that with a couple of times.
It's interesting. So that is on its way. That was not a bluff or anything.
But this, what I was saying is that type of case, and the one that we're seeing is going to be served. The bomb that was dropped today is a whole different thing.
And there were things that they admitted to publicly that were, Stephen, that stuff on is my understanding. But the copyright infringement and the breaking pieces.
Breaking news, y'all.
That's only the 3,453rd time this month. You know what I mean? It's because nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. But some of the things that Sam and Yaba have admitted to are direct misuse of systems that are in place to take care of children, and they've admitted to the stuff. I mean, it's all listed. It's all over. The things that they have done, it doesn't matter how you feel about the fact is, someone with the proof got it together for a very long time, has been gathering it. And
how long have we been saying, sorry to interrupt
No, you're good.
How long have we been saying for months that I've been going, wait for it, it's coming, wait for it. And I think, like, if we were going to serve somebody like that, I don't know why I would drop the bomb until afterwards. I'm not here nor there. I'm not questioning anybody. But I think it was good timing because
they can't even say anything.
They can't even say anything. They've got to go into someone else's chat and hopefully maybe they bring them up on panel or something to even respond.
And Samantha has always, she'll always go for the low hanging fruit. Like if she has no other choice but to kind of go with someone that she thinks might go real life, someone who might do some of her dirty work, she'll be there. What was crazy is that Yaba was in that chat. That's what was remarkable, because Yaba has always held herself, or thought she held herself, to a higher standard, that this channel that she had put some subscribers together where she reviews people, that gets a ton of, she gets a few viewers.
She gets a lot
even
more
FFG gets like 3,000.
A lot more views than a regular DC person gets.
And just like she does with everyone, Sam infiltrated her life.
I'm gonna change the name to infiltrated.
And it's imploding.
Yeah.
Because that is
what Sam does. She ruins anything that
is ever good in her life.
And anything. Relationships, anything. She grabs, people on the side for her bidding.
Thank you.
Yaba, if you've been around us and our community for the last, hell, we're almost coming up on a decade. It was like 7-8 years ago.
Isn't that insane? I was thinking about that.
And she was doing her deal with Katie, with Miss Fucking Wonderful. They were a thing, and Yaba sort of broke free and said, I'm going to do this on my own.
And nobody really knew where she went.
Nobody went. Nobody knew. She was just kind of gone from the drama community. She wasn't in people's mentions. She wasn't in people's streams. She was going to get on. She also had that little thing where she was trying to make beats and stuff and make music, Beats by Yaba or whatever. She had a couple. We can cue up a stream a couple years ago where we
used to chuckle at that. I'm not going to lie, Yaba. We used to chuckle at it.
We came up with a whole album full of songs titles for her.
We were like, we could just see her sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it appears at this point that they're made for each other.
But the thing is that so Yaba's out there, and next thing you know, she's built, 24, 25,000 or whatever it was, and she's doing this with kind of not a truce with Foodie Beauty, but Foodie Beauty. It's amazing. Every time I listen to her, the few times I do, to me, since I'm not down that rabbit hole, it's just a complete troll. To me, she's trolling the whole thing. But she has done stuff like gone to another country and all that. But Yaba would review her. French Fry Girl also would review, and French Fry Girl took off because French Fry Girl knows how to stay out of the drama.
And any way you look at that, the fact that she is making 5 times the views of the person that
3,000 people in her chat.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like you can't even equate that the original content that she gets that much more.
So she does this, and Mandy and I get together. Sam doesn't like it. Never really gave a good reason. Tried to say she was defending my ex-wife and this and that.
It gave her a business idea.
It gave her a business idea. And about a year later, it was about a year, I think. And she showed up, presented herself to Yaba, and they are now a thing. And since that day, Yaba's world has just come down a step. Like every month, she comes down a step. And we talked about that. I'm fairly convinced that Yaba really does love her, and she doesn't understand. She's blinded by it. I've been there. I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He knows a thing or two. He's been targeted.
I mean, how much has to be taken away from you? I mean, she was never going for child support and all that, and Sam kind of convinced her.
They had a workable, he took care of that,
Yeah, and
Sam's like, no.
Nope, I'm going to show you how this shit works.
We're going to get child support for all 3 of the kids. Let's get it started.
It's just these crazy, fucked up business deals. And really, it's like me. I couldn't look at my ex-wife, where she was and there in her life, and see. And the red flags were coming up. And I didn't understand. Like, I thought that I was going to change her or something like that. But I don't know how many how many rounds have to hit Yaba's world in her life for her to go, holy crap, my life has become a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she does. Oh my gosh, like Aziz says, Karen, you're exactly right. Sam pushes and pushes everything to the limit, thinking she's above everyone else and no one can touch her. Absolutely. Foodie Beauty is funny. Poor Arab guys. Has Salah have the green card yet? I don't follow them. I just poke in and look occasionally. I don't have anything against her. I know she makes, with some people, huge emotions come up, and I respect that's I just look at her and I'm like, when she's sitting there, what was she eating the other day? Like that big thing with her tortillas. Remember we were watching it?
And she was
paneer, is that what it's called?
She was clearly crunching them and like some
on purpose
creepy ASMR type, like.
And then I was like, yeah, I can't watch this. Like, I'm not into people eating. That was like, remember the one time Sean went to eat peanuts while you were live? And I was like, no.
I ate them here, right?
You started to, and I was like, that's sorry for those of you who eat live. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Does it drive you crazy when people eat their food live and when they're loud about it? Some people don't.
2 things that drive this one crazy. And it took her a while to really tell me, but she's like if I'm like sitting in the bed, first of all, the food in the bed was new to you.
Right. I gave into that.
So I'd sit there, I got the Braves game on, and I'm crunching away. But if she is, especially if she's trying to sleep, and I'm crunching chips, finally she's like, babe, you have got to stop doing that. I'm like, what?
There is a point of time when I'm drifting off to sleep where you're like super tired or whatever, and you're drifting off. It's usually about the time when you have kids that they're sitting there going, mommy, mommy,
On a
mommy.
Saturday morning.
And you're so, when you're falling asleep and you're going, no, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that, because you're just drifting off to sleep. It's kind of like that. I can't handle crunching in the bed. I don't know why. I can handle it anywhere else, but
And I
not
honor
in the
that.
bed.
I'll eat something that doesn't crunch. The other thing is when
Yep.
that I realize that really bothers her is when I'm cooking.
Yes.
And I scrape the bottom of the pans.
Or because
I'm cutting with my knife or
pulls
something.
the Teflon off. Yeah, the Teflon.
Yeah.
It pulls the Teflon off when it's a metal spoon, but once it's done, it's done. So you're like, oh well, it's a
But
good
the
set of
sound.
beans. Oh,
can
when he's
creep you out.
cut, he can't hear well. Y'all know that. So when he's cutting his food, his fork or his knife will kind of drag across the plate, and I'm like, no.
To me, it's the equivalent of scratching chalkboard. I can't stand that.
You're right,
Just
Karen.
scratching down.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we digress. But we just throw that in there.
We like to throw tidbits of whatever. And again, this is the thing that is absolutely clear. There's no way that toxic relationship can last forever. People say the same about us, but I'm saying this because y'all have to remember, each at their own time, I was friends with each of them for a period of time. Sam longer, we got closer. But there was a period of time Yaba and I were friends. She said I had to hit the road. Hey, Sheila, it's good to see you. Yaba hit the road because she said, you talk to Sam. I'm not okay with that. You got to go. And I was like, okay.
It's kind of like
I'm not going to betray my friend, so you can go.
It's kind of like how we are about Sam. Now, it's kind of sort of the same thing that we are.
Really, Colleen said they had the discussion a few nights ago. But when it goes south, and it will go south, when you look at how she has obsessed over me over the last 5 years, and if you count before we made up the first time, you can add a couple of years on top of that, 7 years. Yeah, but she's never, ever going to leave you alone. You will always, you'll have to leave YouTube probably, because it's a whole different level.
It's a different level. You guys have seen it. You guys seen how it is.
She will never, every time it'll be like Beetlejuice. You say your name 3 times and she will appear. But I'm glad for you. I'm glad that y'all are super happy just living in courtrooms, because you're your own worst enemy. I mean, there's worse things, I guess.
Right. And when you're in a courtroom, you try to win, but obviously to them, they don't even care about winning.
They need to do prepaid legal.
Something.
I wonder if can you file a bunch of, wasn't tort reform part of what was supposed to stop some of the bullshit that people fight? Not this one.
It was more of a civil thing though.
Like
frivolous lawsuits for stuff.
Car accidents
over and over and over. Like trying to outspend somebody to break them.
And just frivolous, like suing for car accidents you weren't hurt in. Something like that.
Or just, like in North Carolina, there's no law that protects somebody that keeps getting drug into court on, say, domestics that aren't true, or cyber, remember it was like, what's gonna stop her from suing us again? And us having to fly from Texas again. He said there's really nothing, unfortunately.
Until y'all are divorced, and then it's a whole different ballpark.
Different
you can't be doing domestic kind of stuff if it failed and you're in a different state.
Yep.
So I don't know how they afford it. They use I don't know if Lisa Manning is still in their chat or not. That's not like doxing. She goes in there with that name, and she's very publicly been their attorney. I don't know if she's going to take this case on or not. I would think probably not, since she couldn't even win her own civil filing against someone that was pro se.
The other thing is if and we're not telling our friend Clara what to do, obviously, but just the obvious thing is, like, if Manning was to show up, that is such a complete conflict of interest for her to try to represent them in a situation like this.
Yes.
The very first thing that the attorney would be is like, you're part of their community. You are in their chats. You can't be here.
Yeah, and Yeah, it's insane to me. I didn't believe that she was actually in their chats until I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's a troll. No, it's really her. And I was
Every once in a while, you got to go investigate and go, holy shit, is that? Yep,
yeah,
that's her.
Aziz, I don't think so. They're not married. I don't believe so. Negs and Claire. I don't know. I don't think that they're married.
A good way to find out
Sheila
is
said,
during
I'm
the suit.
originally from Indiana. These two don't represent Hoosiers well. Isn't that how you say it?
Hoosiers.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was fun.
Yeah.
They know. Indiana in general, the whole state. At one time, I was like, does everybody in the drama community live in Indiana? Exactly.
Or North Carolina. That's another
That
one.
was
If you
another
take
one.
Indiana and North Carolina off of YouTube, you got half the drama communities are gone.
Yeah, there was a few from Texas, but not as many.
But but Texas is a big state, so
That's true. It's a very big state. He's got his. We need to wash it because he's been sweating in it. He's wearing his Texas hat. The University of Texas is in Austin. Downtown has a beautiful stadium. Sean has seen it many times from the highway.
Texas is
See,
now
Sheila, right?
part of the SEC. They're part of the Southeastern Conference now, with Alabama and Georgia and all those other powerhouse schools. If there's any Big Ten people in here, like Michigan and all that, yes, that's a powerhouse conference as well. But the
Where's
ones from
Chicklets?
Texas
Chicklets,
have
tell
gone
him.
into the SEC. What?
I said, where's Chiclet?
Chicklets, tell me to
Chiclet,
shut
get
up.
him in check. No, I'm just kidding. But when he came to visit me the first time, when you're not from Texas, then you know the big cities that are popular. And he was like, "Hey, Yoga, how
this is a funny story.
He said, "Sometime I'd like to see San Antonio." I was like, "Get in the car," because it's only 45 minutes from Austin.
Yeah.
And we drove up there. Just got into town, ate Mexican food. Okay, Sarah, and came back.
Yep.
But you went to San Antonio.
Do you guys know that when Mrs. ATX was
Yes.
Mrs. ATX was the channel, right? I did not know. Bless my heart for this. That ATX was Austin, Texas. I didn't know.
No, he
like
didn't have any
ATL
idea.
is Atlanta, and I land and we're
He
in the
sees
car.
all these things that
and
say
I'm
ATX.
looking all over the billboards and stuff, and it says ATX Power Company or ATX, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for the newbies that don't know, and I say this now laughingly, I used to go by my full name, like a lot of us did in the beginning because we were too dumb to know any better, and I went by Mandy True. Well, obviously I kept, I was getting blocked, and specifically by the Beast. And so I made up a Mrs. ATX name. Hey, Kimberly. I made up a Mrs. ATX name, went into her chat. Immediately, Becca MS Fighter said, "That's Mandy True."
And you were like,
and I was like, oh shit, well, I'm not going to make another name. And it stuck.
It did. So
And
then
it stuck.
ATX is in the drama community. She's the other half of the boardroom with Sam Telfer and blah, blah, blah. ATX and Tomahawk Sean on May 9th, 5 years ago. The union began. And that was my thing. I always tell people that are in these internet relationships, right?
Kimberly.
You meet somebody on the internet, fine. You start sexting or whatever with them, that's fine. But within a real finite amount of time, you got to meet up. I'm not talking about 6 months later, whatever. It was 1 month, about 3 weeks.
If you plan to ultimately be together.
If you really are serious about it, you got to see each other and hang out. From the time we crossed over on May 9th, 2019 to moving in together in Texas, 90 days.
It was crazy.
3 months.
We went to the grocery store and I had no idea what he ate. He had no idea what I ate.
Yep.
Normally when you're at the grocery store with someone, you're like, okay, and you're picking up and I'm like, well, what do you want to eat? And then we were awkward because our finances were getting combined because we were together. So it was like, okay, I normally spend a couple $100 on groceries. Is that what I'm going to spend today? I don't mind paying for it, but is he going to be shocked when it's $200? And you were. You said, I can't remember the last time I spent $200 at the grocery store. That's what you said.
Well, then now in hindsight, after COVID, we've had a time where granted, the Super Kroger's got, like vitamins and all that in it, but it's got a little bit of clothing and stuff too. We spent like $600 one time.
Yeah.
About a year ago. And I looked at this, I said, how the fuck did we spend? So we got a little bit more frugal, but
Karen,
she did teach me. She's like, you need food, you need to eat. So if you're going to overspend on groceries. We have 2 refrigerators, buy what you need. And
Yeah. Whenever we get like an unexpected like sum of money, meaning like have a good night, Aziz, sleep well. Yeah, Yoga, you got to take a plant. You got to. If I get like an unexpected thing, like when our Georgia tax return that we had no idea where it ever went, we gave up. Finally, a year later, a check comes in the mail.
Like 6 weeks ago from last year.
And I did what I always do. I'm curious to see if other girls do this too. I went, you stock up on the shit that's expensive relatively when you take into consideration a budget. Paper towels, toilet paper, things like that. Things that laundry detergent.
Yep.
Hey, Clara.
Cat litter, if you have cats.
Like all of that kind of stuff that when you need to go to the store on your payday or whatever, you've already got that stuff and you're a little bit ahead. Does that make sense?
It does. And, her lesson to me was, I spent that 10 years of my life, like I would go to work and then after work I'd go to Kroger and I'd buy my breakfast, and because I did literally nothing. When we were in court for the divorce and we were trying to establish the date of separation, because in North Carolina you have to be a year and a day, remember, and she was fighting that, and I was like, we literally we don't have same bank accounts, we don't have anything. I was living in one place and she was living in another.
And he was like, what about the lease? Her name.
That one was in her name, the other one was in my name. So it worked, so we did literally nothing together.
Karen. Yeah.
And anyway, so I would always look at my bank account, and it was like pulling eye teeth to get me to spend anything. We need gas. Well, I said, Sean, we literally have 30 miles till empty.
Beyond that, he'd be like, okay, well, let's put gas in the car or whatever. And he goes, okay, I'll put 10 in. I'm like, you might as well just fill it up, because if not, it's not going to be any different in 3 days when you need it again.
Right,
and
or
he was
2
like,
days.
But in my brain, he was like, it makes it. And I was like, no, just fill it up.
So we went into Kroger that day, and she said, get everything that you want, and and we did.
It was HEB.
What's that?
You're talking about the first time we went?
No, I'm talking about when we spent like $600 at
Yeah.
Kroger. And I was like, oh my God. And Mandy's like, do you feel any different? Well, I've got some anxiety. But other than that, is there anything that we have here that we wouldn't get over the course of a month? And I'm like, no. And well, there you go.
And then you also get your gas discount
Yep.
when you do that. And sometimes it can be pretty substantial. So there's a whole process in the works. Yeah. Clara's here. Say
yes. We were
Clara,
just
that was the subject. That was the star.
We touched on that a little bit.
We said, we won't talk specifically. I don't want to challenge her thing, but
it's not our story. But I was surprised at how many people, because I'm real bad at, like, you could tell, like, I wanted to say it, but there was some people, there was like 3 or 4, Owl, us, a couple other people that knew about it or put it out there. I think Belinda mentioned it in her stream.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that some people that you may not get along with, anybody can talk to anybody, man. There's no law. We just don't fuck with people that fuck with Sam Telford. That's just our little personal rule. But
yeah, and the thing is like, to be fair, and I don't want to make this sound flippant, but we've said this before. I don't really, Alex and AK and Tragic, there's nothing, there's no animosity that they talk about us. They're kind of unfortunate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and to
they
be fair,
go on and on.
But to be fair, Tragic's been in some of the chats, but he hasn't been on the panels a little bit lately, but
literally they had no other place to go.
Right. We're talking about Sam and Yaba.
No place. No chat that they can go in. I'm telling you, can you guys, some of them wouldn't want to type in their name one chat that they could go into of a fairly decent creator. We're not talking about their people that hang
I know one, but it would only be because we're saying this right now. And that would be Randy. Randy would be like, Sam would be like, I'm coming into your chat because those motherfuckers over there are saying I can't show my face. And Randy would be like, okay, because I'm a noodle.
Yeah, they can't go anywhere. I can't think of one person. Like I said, some of their unknown people in their thing, if they were to go live, the ones that talk shit about everybody but don't really have a platform, that maybe. Beyond that, all of the ones they used to ride with are done with them.
I couldn't understand for the life of me why that group of people, because you know what, before we even knew DC Media Girl, before we developed the friendship with her, I would hear the name Tragic. You know, he was doing his stream or whatever, and he was hanging out with Negs for a while, and so I knew the names. I had no idea that I thought they were a much bigger channel, and I'm only saying that because I'd heard of them. Tragic was putting his name out there. He was starting to get a little bit of it, but like I'm saying, I was highly, highly surprised when they so easily, you know, went down in Sam's pocket like they did. It was just like that. And from the very get-go, when Sam got on her stream and started spitting out all those the text conversations between Tragic and Gigi, I was like, see Tragic.
Hey, Ritas.
Hey, see Tragic, see what that does not make you look good, bro. I was like, see? And it was like right over their head. I thought that would be all that it took. I thought for being around, they knew enough about her, enough about Sam, because they certainly talk shit about her. I mean, with Alex, I mean, Sam doxed your whole family, including
obituaries of her
all
relatives.
That shit.
That to me is, I cannot believe that.
I mean, AK is not, the Hot Discord Rejects isn't monetized, right? And there's nothing saying you're better or worse because you're monetized or not monetized, but the level of dirty work, the level of mouthpiece that they have become for Sam and Yaba is like, I was like, oh my God, they have no fucking clue.
Right.
They don't have a clue. It is what it is.
I was typing it because I didn't want to. Are you said? Have you seen Katie's tweets? Is it Katie or Kate? Yeah, Katie's tweets. Katie dropping truth bombs as an MFW. I have not seen that. No, I have not. Oh, I had no idea. She's got me blocked. She's had me blocked for a very, very long time.
Thank you. You're the first one to mention that I was rocking with the Zep t-shirt. I can't. Hyacinth.
That's Ritas.
I know, but should we just call Ritas?
She says you can call it Ritas.
Yes, I'm wearing Zep. I'll have my Maverick stuff on later because Dallas plays tonight.
She was telling Yaba she's going to lose her channel. She is.
Yeah.
Katie's always said, Yaba ain't bad. She needs to quit fucking around with Sam.
I mean,
she said she's bad news.
If Katie was the only one saying it, it'd be like, be quiet over there, Katie, because Katie hasn't had any legitimate thing come out of her mouth in quite some time. But in this situation,
yes,
she hasn't had any credibility in quite some time. But she used to be, when she would talk shit, there was a little bit of an element of truth to it.
Yeah.
Some way. Right now, she's just talking shit.
They've used her too.
Yep.
A while back, they used her to
everybody.
do, like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, premise that they, specifically Sam has some sort of compassion for the mentally ill is not true.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. In fact, it's the opposite. She preys on them. So
she uses that when it's convenient to go for a content creator that is going for somebody that, and a lot of times these content creators are going for someone else because they're in some kind of beef. They're talking shit. That's all it is. And she'll accuse one side of taking advantage of somebody that's mentally challenged or has some mental health situation. She does the same fucking thing.
It's the same thing. And we've all said, I don't think that we would all be here if we were all there, right? Like that's,
we're all a little crazy.
And we kind of, that's why we're in our little, whether you watch or you stream or whatever you do, that, it fulfills some sort of, I don't know. So I'm just saying we're not all there or we wouldn't all be here. And for that, I think that she should also be mindful that I have a diagnosis.
I do too.
Why are you coming for me?
Why are you coming for us? I got a whole VA diagnosis so that I could show you. I just laminate that card. When they say, so we're gonna have any problems out of you, I show them the card.
It's like when Randy used to say to people, I was so profoundly mentally ill not to listen to me. Well, then leave me alone.
Or Sam telling Alex that you've been on drugs for a long time. Not that you're in recovery, but that you are still in the throngs of your addiction or something like that. That's the big thing, is that for Alex Glitter, what Sam did to you and the fear that you had because we're friends with Clara was enough to make you take this stance. I mean, I can look at people and say, all right, this is why they go for us. I know why Owl goes for us. I know why she came up with this preposterous 180 about my domestic situation, because we pissed her off. But I've never seen somebody that was so scared. I don't know what you've told AK and Tragic about you. I heard today that you were trying to refute the whole Tragic wasn't talking to you. Not us, but many people you've told.
And of all things, do they have a problem with that?
Yeah. I think it's because, we've been told that they keep coming back to that. For the last 3 or 4 days, they keep coming back to it because it bothers AK.
Right.
It bothers. And the thing is that if they share social media platforms, and then they know what he's saying to people.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing.
You're right. Anna Nicole, I have to come to that conclusion too, that Alex has some issues. I think she seems like she has a good heart, but she's got issues that make her think that it's okay to ally with someone who's done that to you. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? I don't understand that. She's gonna do it to you again. I'm saying that right now on May the 9th at 7:51. AK, Tragic, and Alex. She's gonna fuck you over.
Either that or she's just gonna diss you.
Yeah. Like she did the Beast.
Right now, they're in your chat every day because they got no platform. And, Sam might call up Randy and say, girl, you better spin up a panel and let me come on it.
And you might as well. I was thinking that maybe they would spend this week off, regardless if Sam got struck or she's just hiding because she doesn't want to have a fundraiser for AK, which she probably doesn't, because I can't imagine anybody that she has left really wants to see that on her channel. But whatever. So why don't y'all spend some time together?
Right.
Why don't you stay off Twitter?
If nothing else, pick up the yellow pages and find a fucking attorney because y'all are going to need one.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, take this week to kind of get back into the real world.
Just
because both of you are so head over heels immersed in this bullshit that you can't see straight. And it can't be good for your relationship. I mean, but I think y'all are addicted to it. You're addicted to the fast-paced adrenaline toxicity that you can create. But the problem is you don't have a target audience anymore. Right. Nobody's scared anymore.
Right. No, but that's the main thing. A lot of people are just reported, what Claire posted.
Right, Sandy?
There was a lot of people, several platforms that had no problem and they weren't afraid of anything to put that on blast.
Oh,
and there's a whole bunch of people that are going to follow Clara as she freaking just gives it to you and not going to let you get out of it.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a settlement. There's not going to be this isn't a he said, she said.
It could be, they could offer a settlement, but it's not going to be, it's going to be something they're going to end up paying in legal fees. And
she's in, she's all in. And when people sit around and make fun of her, the money that she has from a dead relative, you're basically going in on anybody that gets an inheritance or a family legacy money. It's like literally everybody wants something like that to happen to them.
An incredible amount of work to settle that estate. An incredible amount of work. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy. But when you inherit money, it is your money. It's not your dead aunt's money. It's your money. You've inherited it.
She's
it's
inherited
her money.
it.
And who says that that's what she's using? She sold a whole ass condominium in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But
So
one thing that is in the back of their mind when they say that her dead aunt's money is that and it's enough to make your life miserable. You guys know that.
You don't have the means to do it on your own.
So 24 hours ago, AK and Alex did a fundraiser to help AK with her legal bills because of the wigged one from New York,
has
right?
Has she picked an attorney that she's
I don't know, but...
Do y'all know, has she picked an attorney? Anyway, I'm just asking.
And even Sam put a tweet out that says, please consider helping AK. That shit's gone, man. That's on the back burner. Sam's going to have to take care of her own. That may be the reason they get ghosted.
Well, and I also
that might be the reason.
How much Sam is going to contribute. And hopefully Yaba too. Can y'all both give to this fund? Or do you need to save your pennies?
You need to save your pennies.
Probably need
that
to
was
save
some
your
of the comments when people were reposting that. The majority of the comments were, Sam's not even going to give to that.
And then the other thing is not to be, okay, she does have a lawyer. So has she already retained the lawyer? I don't know. I don't watch, so I don't know. Is there a price in mind that she has to come up with? What is a pretty median thing to defend a civil case like that to start? $3,000?
It depends. I mean, the first time I had to get a lawyer, it was just $800 because there was no evidence. So, but I had my attorney for my ex. I had him on retainer, and every month $600 every single month.
Yeah,
that's what
Isn't that insane? I mean, and then it's.
I mean, insane. You do the math. It ends up being like $7,000 over the course of a year. 7,200, 600.
Were you like, could you just not beat people up in court?
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
And the answer was no.
Just don't beat people up.
We win a small claims court. We're in small claims court.
Hey, Betsy.
And she walks across the courtroom and and is like, all right, here's another 600. Sorry, she just smacked somebody that we just won in court against. Here's another 600.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty incredible that that she they're gonna have to get an attorney. And I mean, retainers 5,000 to 10,000. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, but not. It depends.
Right, Colin.
Sometimes an attorney can look at something and go, okay, and he gives you a price. And 7 years ago, or whenever it was that we first went in there, it was only like $800. It's still $800 fucking dollars though.
You're talking about for the divorce?
No, I was talking about for to go into court to be a defendant against like cyber charges and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
I see.
Yeah. The divorce we ended up.
That was costly.
Yeah, it was about 7 or 8 grand, and when we didn't even have anything to split up.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, one morning we got an email on, was it August the 1st? That said, congratulations, Mr. Kirley, you are divorced. And she attached the signed paperwork with the court stamp. We had just woken up, and she had come in and signed or whatever. And she said, it's been our pleasure working with you.
Now don't ever come back to fucking North Carolina again. But I remember that we had already had our plane tickets booked to go. So we'd already spent, the money on the plane tickets. We ended up getting a credit from Expedia, which we didn't end up using.
We didn't even use it because we couldn't apply it. It was like all fucked up, which is what she intended to do. It was
during COVID too, so it was.
We were 1 day away from flying there, and then she threw in the towel. I guess she didn't want to.
We're getting on the plane, and my attorney said, just hold on, just stay, and I'll have an answer for you. And then that morning we woke up, it was like a day or two before we were going to fly out. And it's like, we either come or not. And he goes, you guys, and then his paralegal was like, I don't know what he said, but something happened where they were like, just sign the fucking paperwork.
I was like, because I had said, I was late to the paralegal. I was like, if she comes in, because she came in like weekly, you only have to give her a little bit of attention, and she may just sign. She might just sign it. If you entertain her and watch her stage show, she may sign it.
Stage show, maybe even promise to join her OnlyFans. Have a good night, Kimberly. Say, I'll join your OnlyFans. She goes, oh my God, she'd sign it right there. But
yes, first stressed.
This situation that's coming up, with Clara and Negs versus Yaba and Sam is different. It's different.
It's different than It's got some solidity behind it.
It is, and it's
so you can wipe your shit, but it's already.
So when Clara's attorney goes to whoever they retain, and that is like, well, what do you got? That attorney says, my client is in for this much. This is what they've paid for. So before you come back with something, this is what my client is in for right now. This is what they want. Have anteed up with. When you play poker and you place your bet and you push money in, and that's going to, then he'll go back to his people and go, y'all might want to try to get out of this somehow. It's not going to be a...
And it's not the first thing that's come their way from Clara. I think there's something still in progress, as a matter of fact.
Right, and maybe from other people. So
when she says, part of the tweet said, okay, game on. Yeah, but we're not talking about paintball, man. This is a whole, it's not a... She didn't have to do anything. She's got an attorney. She just has to sit back and...
Well, there has been a lot of work that's already been done.
Right.
All her attorney's got to do is kind of push the docket or push the little, whatever, the booklet or whatever they've got together, their case, and said, here you go. because the other
Robin.
side, the other side is privy to anything. So just take some time and read that fucker.
Robin, I don't know if you're trolling or not, but this is hilarious. What the fuck? I made tuna steak for my friend. I grilled the steak and then put a can of tuna on top of it. That's tuna steak, right? She might be trolling. It's still, if you didn't know, that would make sense. It says, I can't cook. I did make a steak, but then I opened a can of tuna because my friend wanted a tuna steak. So I put the tuna on top of it. How did I go? Nope, no. A tuna steak is just a bigger cut of actual tuna. Instead of being shredded, it's a big chunk of tuna.
Oh, so she thought it was like
a can of tuna on the steak.
Like cow and tuna?
Yeah. Oh. Which, who knows? That might be a good combination. You might be onto something there. Maybe if you put some dill over the top of it or whatever.
She says, no, I can't cook. But Robin's in Florida, I think. The coast. Just go to the coast there and say, I want a tuna steak and I have X amount of money for it, and they'll hook you right up. Yeah. Sean has been watching them catching fish online, and if I say that they've caught more than he can catch, he's like, we're going right now. We're going right now. I'm going to make you eat those words. Hey, Lady of Dolls, how are you? Seriously, I burn hard eggs. Love steak. That's what I'm saying. I'm like trying in my mind to think about, well, if you put like Planko over it and baked it, isn't that what it's called? Planko, that powder? Like Panko. It's like breadcrumbs. Okay. Tuna and steak is the new surf and turf. There you go. That's it. It's just not classic tuna steak. You know what I mean? But I think that's the old surf and turf too. I think if you go somewhere and order surf and turf, you get fish and steak. It might not be tuna. It might be but I mean that's a good I burnt could be scrod. Sauce. You guys know what scrod is? I didn't know what scrod was. Yeah, tell them what scrod is. Scrod is everything. You mean cod? They're like, no, it's scrod, and it's like a white flake fish that's out there with like the cod, and sometimes it's haddock or pollock. Pollock is a little bit but there really isn't a scrod. Scrod is could be several types of fish that come out of that type of water, and then they just like blend it together. Yeah, they might have a freaking, what do you call it, vermilion snapper might come out of there, or something else, but it's normally a white flaky fish. And like whiting, you've seen the whiting that I've caught. Mm-hmm. All one that I caught. I know. I was like, he goes, this is the only one that anyone caught here today. And I was like, okay. It's the only fish that was in the water that day. And I was like, it's okay. There might be. He's like, no. I caught, none of these people caught fish. And I'm like, I'm not challenging your fish catching ability. Mm-hmm. So. Fish fear me, guys. Panko breadcrumbs are Japanese breadcrumbs. Whatever you. Okay. And the other thing, cool, Rita's perch. Rainbow trout. See, we have, and someone asked if you've ever gone tuna fishing, and one stress mommy did, and then the other thing that I was going to add is, I think that was it. One stress mommy, I haven't tuna fish, but I have fished George's Bank, the movie The Perfect Storm. See, George's Bank is a series of like underground mountains, like underground hills and mountains. So boats that have nets can't really fish that because their equipment will get stuck and it'll break. But you can either long line or you can just fish. I steamed out of Rhode Island all the way up to George Bank, which is off the coast of Maine, on a Thursday and fished till Sunday, and fished George's Bank. So it wasn't tuna, but it's out in the same type of waters. We caught pollock, haddock, cod. It's just the thunder. No. It's gunfire. Oh, is that a gun? Yeah. It's so weird. He never barks at that. What was that? We're in the country, Sawyer. He thinks someone's knocking on the door. People, and we always say like the inner city where there's gunfire. If you live out in the woods, there's gunfire too. Well, no, but I mean, I would imagine whoever be ready to cut it. I know. If someone's here, we're going to cut it. But we're going to have to cut it. No, well, one stress mommy, I have not fished for tuna, but I have fished deep sea fishing. No, I have gone out and striper fished off Block Island and Montauk in that area before, but never for tuna. I'd like to do it, like Wicked Tuna, like that show. I like to watch that. Yeah. But bluefin tuna is different. That is different. It's a different type of crew and how they reel it in and all that.
Yeah, I think it was gunfire, Regis. So Sarah doesn't like seafood. She bit into a shrimp and spit it out, and that was all she wrote.
Whoa.
I also think, Sarah, wouldn't it exacerbate some of like the conditions? I've heard that about shellfish.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know if you have gout, you don't want to eat shellfish.
Right. The hunters are out. Oh yeah, the hunters are out. They're hunting behind my house. It could have been. It's weird that he barked.
Yeah, I didn't know quite what it was until the thunder came.
That might be what it is.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Right, Sawyer's gonna get. Sawyer's like, I am on the case.
And that's another thing. If anyone shows up at our door or this and that, y'all will never know.
We cut it and wouldn't talk about it or whatever.
But do you guys remember one of the first vlogs I did when I left was I asked a question. I think the vlog is called Y'all Decide, and it was a while ago, and a lot of people watched it. And I had a conversation with Mandy, and it was before we met up for the first time. And it was about when I go fishing in the ocean, what I do is I go to the fish market there and I catch, I buy fresh shrimp, just fresh shrimp, not something that you buy, not bait shrimp. That way, if I don't catch fish, I can eat the shrimp. Or I use some of the shrimp for bait, and that way, whatever I catch, I can put shrimp in there. And it was a whole big thing. She was like, you can't do that.
You can't eat the bait.
And I'm like, no, if it's fresh, you can eat it. That's why you originally buy it. I just fished with some of it. Anyway, it was a whole thing.
Well, it's either shitty enough to fish with it, or it's good enough to eat. There shouldn't be a shrimp you probably wasted money buying that shrimp.
No, because these fish, they're once there's a lot of shrimp that's out there and they're eating it, they can be selective. They're not going to eat some raw, some frozen old shrimp when they can eat fresh shrimp. I
agree. I really do. I do agree with you. I just still think that it's weird. I would love to catch and cook mahi down in Florida. I like mahi. But we had a big bag of it with them individually sealed, and we had just had it and hadn't eaten it. So we gave it to his folks because they will eat it fast. I wanted to make fish tacos.
No, you don't. You hate fish tacos.
But I was going to make it for you, and then you were like, I don't want that.
No, I want...
So I was like, well, then we might as well get rid of it.
Beef tacos.
Yeah, you do like beef tacos.
I do, yeah.
Not beef curtains, though.
There you go. Now.
Look, see, that was crass. Yep. No, but yeah, that's my point, though. Allergic to shellfish, so I don't eat seafood at all. That makes sense. Steph is right back. How am I? Sean wants to go out deep sea fishing.
Yeah, I'll do that again. I love doing that. It was...
Oh, cool, Sarah. Sarah likes to fish.
When I go deep sea fishing, well, if I did it 10 years ago or whatever, it was to get away, just to get away. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to be away from her for 4 days just to fish. Maybe a day.
You've gone out for 4 days before?
Yeah, a Thursday night, we left Point Judith. Where did you sleep? In the boat. It was a big old boat.
Oh.
And it was a deep sea fishing boat, but it only took 50 of us because, so we would have enough room to sleep and this and that. The only thing about it was you really had to bring your own food. They didn't have like a galley where they made a bunch of shit. So you had to pack your own shit for Thursday night, and we fished Friday, Saturday, and we came back Sunday morning. So,
that's cool.
I caught about 30 cod.
Did they have a bathroom?
Oh, yeah, they had a bathroom.
They had a bathroom? I know, but you didn't, if you had to go poo-poo.
They had a bathroom for that. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Don't pollute the ocean by taking a dump in it. It's not right. Remember when Dave the fisherman said that he couldn't catch this one fish in the ocean because it was endangered?
Which one was he talking about?
He said they didn't want people to catch too many of the fish in this area because it would wipe out the...
There are certain fish that...
Hey, Stitching.
Like grouper. There's certain grouper off the coast of North Carolina where you can only keep one. You might find a bunch of them down there because they're endangered or whatever. But there's a lot of laws like redfish, like red drum. They've got all kinds of restrictions on those fish, and they are like thriving.
Wow.
Like you'd think they'd want us to catch some.
But wow, anyway. Very cool. One stress mom. That's what Hub did, tuna fishing 3 days. Nice.
That is very cool.
It's very cool, especially if you live where we did and say you went and fished and then you just drove straight back and you had all the fresh seafood and then you just had a...
Well, part of it was when you do a trip like that, see now the mates will clean the fish
Oh, really?
And you just tip them like $50 or something like
Wow.
that. If you, because that's a lot of fish. We had like these 60-quart coolers, and everyone had their own. But when you get back to the dock, there are people there that will buy the fish, but they don't want you. They don't want to buy the cleaned fish. They don't want the fillets because they like the whole fish. I guess it kind of proves what kind it is.
Okay.
And so what I did is I cleaned like 10 of them and, put them in different bags to freeze. And the other like 20 fish, when I got back to the dock, I just sold them to whoever was there.
How much does it cost to go out on those boats?
It was about $500 or so.
It's not bad for 3 days.
It wasn't.
That's not
But
bad.
if you put 50 people in there and charge them all $500, it's they make some money. But then by the time you sell half of it to people, you only end up spending about $250 if you sell a lot of the fish that you have. They're $300, and then so you have, all the fish that you can fit in a cooler, and you've sold the rest. You pay for like half your trip.
And then, but so you just go for the sport of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We had I won the pool. Everyone throws in like $20 or $30, and then the biggest fish, they get the pool, and I won that too. It wasn't even cod. It was a pollock, and it was only like a 16 or 17 pound pollock. We weren't catching big tuna. We were catching a lot of like market sized cod that were like 5-6 pounds a piece.
Okay. Look, Sarah knows a lot about it. 400 to 600.
Yep.
I know, right, Karen? I'm so naive about this stuff. I'm like, what? But
You bet, Robin. You're welcome.
Oh, okay. I was like, Karen, I said she's behind. She heard the shrimp story that he eats the bait. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Karen's hubby does some fishing too, and
Sean tells her to make him a sandwich while he's gone. They're holding on and flapping their wings.
hold on.
But that's okay.
Sawyer, chill out.
I know he's ready.
The cockatiels they're raising hell.
Yeah, they want to be covered. But we had a good time with you guys.
Yeah.
We don't normally do that, but I'm curious to see if this helps. Thank you, Moz, for always encouraging the thumbs up and everything. If y'all haven't, can you hit the thumbs up, because I want to see if it works and how many people
Hush over there. We'll be done in a minute.
change their sign because I said that.
Really?
Yeah.
So I gave some advice before we go. We can sign off with this to Alex and AK, and I said, really, people want to know who they're talking to or who's talking to them. When you're flipping through your YouTube channel, how many people stop and just listen to a chat or are you more likely to tune into a chat or to a stream when people are cammed up and you can see who's talking to you and interact with that, or not?
Yeah.
Y'all should cam up. We'd love to see what you look like.
Yeah. I mean,
Just saying.
there's no big deal with doing it because it's just.
But I mean, you guys got a lot to say when talking about other people's looks and what they're saying and what they're doing. Cam up. Let us see what you're working with.
We won't be mean, I promise. Thank you
we
guys.
won't. We
Thank
won't
you
be
for
mean.
hanging out with us.
We're just trying to help you.
Yeah.
We're just trying to help you get monetized, and you apparently are working really, really hard to be a top drama genre YouTuber. So we're just trying to give you some advice. That's all.
That's it.
Right?
We love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for
Get a lawyer, Sam.
I know.
Get a lawyer.
A good one.
Yep.
Thank you for being with
Run,
us
Yaba.
tonight.
Run, Yaba.
She's not
Run.
going to. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Hold on.